like that?
I don't believe so. No, I believe we operate on a need-to-know basis. And, of course, when you are involved in these particular programs or you're a commissioned officer and what have you, there are certain documents which will require you to stay silent on the pretense of national security. And of course, I believe to some degree they were unaware. And I believe Gordon Cooper, who in his book Leap of Faith, he puts it very clearly.
Well,
yes, absolutely, and I think some of them were greatly astounded. And I've heard reports of there being transmissions when they took the lunar lander, that little rover, and rode around. There were reports that there were transmissions that the astronauts, when they went to the edge of the crater, said, "Oh my God, look down there! Look what's here already before us," and so on and so forth. And so, they're there to do a job, and they have to operate within the confines of what they are told to do. And I don't think that trying to get them to divulge otherwise, where they will have to suffer the consequences, is very wise on their part.
Do you believe our astronauts were ever threatened?
No. I mean, threatened in what way? By ourselves?
No, by possible aliens up there?
No.
So nothing like that? Not get off the moon, don't ever come back, nothing like that?
No, of course not. That would have been our space program, already from the Gemini and Mercury days. We made our intent very clear to go to the moon. It would have been very easy to prevent us to getting off the launch pad if that was the intent. No, I have not found in my research or interactions over all these years, and I can speak the same for my father, Mr. Adamski, as well, that any interactions that they were aware of or had researched and collected data on had anything to do with any aggressive nature. If anything, they were there to provide assistance should it be required.
If the aliens are on the moon with bases, why? Why not just put them here? What are they doing?
Well, who says they haven't? I mean, it's quite a possibility. I mean, we have a very large unexplored ocean depths. We have areas of the planet that are, let's say these days, not quite so inaccessible as before, but there are plenty of areas. If you fly in Central South America, there's still huge non-radar environments in which there are, millions of square miles of open land. And I have talked to a number of people in a lot of these countries who have talked of seeing these luminescent devices come flying down into the canyon. In fact, I had a very good conversation with somebody in Baja California about that. They call the valley of the luminescence, and they have seen crafts fly into the valley and disappear into the mountain valleys, but they never come out. So it's possible that there are landing sites or bases here on this world, and I think the moon would be a very logical place initially if you want to set up shop and take a look and see what we're all about.
We're going to go through next hour with you, Glenn, some of the photos that you provided us that we have up on the website, and get your take on what you think some of those objects may or may not be. In all of this, is there anything there that just has shocked you?
Well, shocking me is not quite so easy.
Not anymore.
After all, I've seen these things since the age of 4 or 5.
You're desensitized.
Well, what I'll say is it's pleasant to see additional confirmation. When you see a luminescent object hanging over the head of the astronaut, that is, quite an interesting photograph, or that cylindrical-shaped object that is on your website there, that Lunar Orbiter 4 HR-157-1 picture. It shows a cylindrical device horizontal over the crater, and so on. And these are just, a very small selection I could rapidly scan and get sent to you in comparison to what's in the book, and let alone in what is in the archives. But it's nice to see more and more confirmation of what you knew and experienced to be true already for a long time.
Would you ever want to go to the moon yourself, Glenn?
Absolutely. Oh, I'd volunteer in a heartbeat. If I had $20 million, I'd go with the Russians.
There has been some recent talk, that there are just so many huge structures on the moon.
Yeah.
One, John Lear was talking to Art a couple weeks ago, and
oh yeah, I know John very well.
Okay, talked about a structure that may have been made by who knows whom. That is a 7-mile-high tower.
The one with the ball hanging on it. Yeah, the one that looks like a very large Van de Graaff generator.
Yeah,
that was. I talked about that with John already years and years ago. But, there have been some astronomers who have focused, or amateur astronomers who have focused their telescopes on specific areas in conjunction with photos from the space program of that particular area, where they can see the shadow cast of a large structure. And some of the photos in my father's book also lead towards structural development on the surface of the moon, and so yes, I think that is quite common.
Would being on the moon be a great place to wait before you launch an invasion of Earth?
Well, first of all, I don't think invasion comes into question. If you can get to the moon to the Earth is not even firing up the retro rockets, so to speak. It's just a small piddly jump.
All right, hold that thought, because I want to ask you that again when we come right back. We are quickly at the top of the hour. More to come with Glenn Steckling, and phone calls as well. I'm George. And welcome back. I'm George Norrie with my guest, Glenn Steckling. Glenn, the book, by the way, let me ask you now, and we'll bring it up again in the last hour. Where can you get it?
Well, it's available from us directly down here in Vista, California. If you wish the book, you simply $19.95, and we send it to you airmail postage, so that's another $3.50 for that. And the address is GAF International, P.O. Box 1722 in Vista, California, 92085. And also you can obtain it through Baker & Taylor, Borders Books, Amazon.com. All of those companies and others also order directly from us. More than 100 NASA photographs and some area blow-ups there in this book. I mean, it's if you're into pictures and you want to look at things, that's there. And a lot of the pictures have already been blown up for you. Boy, there's one here that has what is supposed to be a crater, and I've never seen a more rounder circle. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's incredible. A whole series of very concentric craters, as if they are carved out by very fine machinery. And sometimes in the inside of the craters you will find symbols. If you look on page 160, you'll find there that there's a lunar orbiter shot with a very clear S raised in the middle of the crater. Also below it on the plane, lunar plane itself. And so there are circumstances of symbols and letters carved in the surface as well. There's no question that is an S. No, absolutely. I mean, that's not even one of those, well, maybe it's an object that looks like an S. No. This clearly looks like an S. Oh, yeah. Something that you would see in Eric von Däniken book. Absolutely. And there's another photo here as I'm thumbing through trying to find it, but there's one that shows a very large question mark. It's horizontal versus vertical, but yeah, we probably have a lot of questions. Well, with the moon being 4.5 billion years old as well, who knows who might have visited that thing? That's correct. And left things behind, or well, we were on the subject here of using the moon as a platform of invasion. Yes. And if we kind of take a clear-eyed step back here, I think some type of historical sense is really in order, because there seems to be a very definitive line between reports and stories and sensationalism that has evolved after the late 1960s, and that would happen before. So if we look at a combined archaeological record of perhaps back as far as the Chinese, who talked about flying vehicles cylindrical shape, we're looking at 4,000 years. And these crafts have been visiting us for that long. If they were going to invade us, it would simply have been very easy to do during the horse and buggy or chariot times. since they had the technology then, and we were still running around in in loincloths. So I don't think that the invasion scenario, although it might be very sensational to some imaginations, is very valid. And if we look at the original contacts that happened from the late 40s up till, let's say, 1960,